with the wrong dude. He's crazy. He's got more money than anybody. And he's like,
darling, it's true. Jeff and I are getting divorced. But let's be clear. This isn't a breakup. It's a strategic exit after completing my mission.
Much money?
I'm sure. Look, it's a good move.
Rightfully so.
That Bezos dude's burning money. You can do whatever the fuck.
Stand them. Everything about this circus is just, I just exhausted. Everything I know about them, I know against.
Talking about Jeff Bezos before the
So if you haven't heard, Jeff Bezos has lost his mind. He has completely gone insane. I'm not talking about his politics. I'm talking about what he...
But you not pretend he doesn't have choice. He knows he has choice. He has hot women hitting him up all the time. Let's not pretend he's banging hot young women just...
Yeah, she deserves it. But it's hilarious. It's so much money. Like, damn, crazy shit.
But they did start together in like his room.
Yes. Listen.
You know, just from knowing what I've known just in my research on billionaires, like, I doubt she's his one and only. I doubt it. She's the woman who is his official and who will accompany him to things like state dinners, what have you. But those guys, they're not really built for that kind of a life. And I think even in her choice of friends, again, like she did have stuff going on. She was a journalist. She was a helicopter pilot. She came from nothing and made something of herself. But she's in this position now in life, and she has access to the world's finest minds, and she chooses to befriend the likes of Kris Jenner, the Kardashian clan, and Katy Perry.
Well, that's actually what I was trying to get to, and I forgot. This is just a long-winded way of saying, I think something's happened to her. Like, she just kept wanting to trade up when it came to money and power and fame, and not coincidentally kept trading up, obviously, on the plastic surgery. Only by up, I mean...
Joe Rogan roasts Lauren Sanchez and $5 billion Jeff Bezos divorce scandal. From the moment Rogan riffed on that headline, social media imploded. TikTok stitched his every syllable. X spun up hashtags before the episode finished streaming, and mainstream outlets scrambled to quote a line that sounded more stand-up than news. What hooked everyone wasn't just the cast. Amazon's founder turned rocket baron, a helicopter pilot influencer with movie star poise, and the biggest podcaster on earth, but the suspicion that the glitziest wedding of the decade had been a trap door into a legal brawl beneath the confetti. By dawn, talk show panels were asking whether Lauren Sanchez had underestimated Jeff Bezos, or whether Jeff had plotted retaliation months in advance, and Rogan's casual roast had become the gasoline on that fire. Rewind to June 2025. Venice's San Giorgio Maggiore, normally a postcard of marble and tide, morphed into a billionaire playground. 30 lacquered water taxis ferried VIPs past irritated gondoliers, 90 private jets circled overhead like chrome dragonflies, and Bezos' $500 million super yacht Koru floated offshore as if it might swallow St. Mark's Square. Gold and black invitations promised romance, Vogue photographers elbowed each other for angles, and Lauren glided across a mirrored pier in a towering Dolce & Gabbana gown built for viral shares. On paper, it was pure romance, yet eyewitness whispers spoke of stiff smiles, hurried side conferences, and assistants guarding iPad sleeves as though they contained state secrets. Even the gray carpet, quickly memed as an Amazon warehouse floor, felt corporate. To understand how that fairy tale cracked, you need Lauren's backstory. Raised in Albuquerque, she hustled from small market news bulletins to Hollywood entertainment desks, then reinvented herself again as an aerial cinematography entrepreneur, earning a pilot's license so she could film her own sky shots without renting choppers. Friends describe her as relentless, networking on red carpets, pitching climate fund documentaries to tech billionaires, and curating an Instagram feed where charity galas mingle with yacht decks like bullet points in a resume. Rumors claim her first real conversation with Bezos began about carbon offsets and ended with shared ambitions, and by 2024, she was vice chair of a multi-billion-dollar foundation, a Vogue regular, and brunching with Kris Jenner. Around that time, insiders began whispering about a docuseries, a memoir, and an algorithm-friendly rebrand that would culminate in a blowout wedding broadcast across social feeds. 3 weeks after the vows, the chessboard flipped. Court filings alleged that Lauren breached ironclad confidentiality clauses, leveraged the marriage to chase production deals, and reconnected with previously blacklisted confidants. The dollar figure, $5 billion, looked theatrical until analysts reminded viewers that Bezos' fortune turned confirms that. Some into symbolism rather than hardship. Insiders say his legal unit, staffed by veterans of corporate espionage cases, had been stockpiling metadata, jet manifests, and encrypted messages long before the first champagne cork popped. Rogan compared the lawsuit to assassination-level precision, joking that attorneys were probably hiding behind the floral arches waiting to press send. Rogan's rant became the soundtrack to the fallout. In his gravelly crescendo, he labeled the couple Tech Ken and Press Barbie, quipped that any future child would arrive with a prenup instead of a pacifier, and shrugged that Bezos treats relationships like quarterly ventures. The dig stuck because it echoed what people already sensed, that the marriage felt syndicated rather than spontaneous. Clips of the monologue blasted across TikTok, subtitles blazing, each share adding new layers of sarcasm. Without releasing a single leaked document, Rogan reframed a high-gloss love story as a merchandising rollout gone wrong. Memes followed like gulls chasing a trawler. One Redditor pasted Rogan's face onto a ventriloquist puppet controlling Bezos. Another renamed Lauren's couture gown the sponsorship cape. TikTok creators lip-synced punchlines over slow-motion drone footage of the gray carpet entrance, and reaction channels dissected the footage frame by frame looking for micro-expressions. Through it all, Lauren's socials went dark. Publicists insist she was told to pause, yet on the internet, silence equals surrender. By mid-week, follower tracking dashboards showed her growth graph stalling, brand deal whisperers hesitating, and stylists quietly jumping ship. While her brand stalled, Bezos executed a masterclass in containment. Shared credit cards froze overnight. Koru's crew rotation switched to loyalty-vetted personnel, and insiders claim her access badge to selected Blue Origin sites simply stopped beeping. Cyber forensics teams reportedly quarantined every device she had synced with Amazon's backbone, signaling that the empire was severing digital ties before any counter-narrative could germinate. Rogan summarized it in a single line: "This dude doesn't get ambushed, he builds the ambush." Observers noted the swiftness felt less like heartbreak and more like shutting down a data center after detecting malware. Yet even a perfect ambush leaves footprints. Body language analysts replayed the ceremony in slow motion, Bezos tilting away during the kiss, Lauren's eyes darting when Leonardo DiCaprio leaned in for a congratulatory hug, Oprah's frozen half smile. Environmental critics hammered the carbon ledger, 90 jets, fireworks over a fragile lagoon, a diesel-burning yacht overshadowing the island, branding the pair eco-posers. When the gray carpet memes spread, even loyal fans had to admit the fairy tale looked more like an Amazon marketing summit. Cultural commentators seized on the contrast between soaring inflation and soaring decadence. Morning shows argued the spectacle proved billionaires are either tone-deaf or defiantly theatrical, and marketing professors held emergency webinars on backlash risk when storytelling ignores audience sentiment. Union activists retweeted tech investors, environmentalists retweeted stand-up clips, and the scandal briefly united corners of the web that usually fling code words at each other. $5 billion no longer sounded like damages. It sounded like a billboard for lost credibility. Behind lacquered doors, settlement feelers went out. Rumor says Lauren's team floated a joint statement framing the split as compassionate, but Bezos rejected anything that sounded like spin. Attorneys on both coasts prepared witness lists stacked with entertainment publicists, yacht captains, drivers, and stylists, each ready to testify about NDAS or late-night strategy calls. Tabloids predicted a broadcast circus larger than any celebrity courtroom saga since the streaming era dawned. Meanwhile, commentary channels kept the pot boiling. Finance YouTubers broke down Bezos' prenup like an MBA case study. Relationship podcasts argued over love versus leverage. And climate activists projected laser graffiti onto Amazon warehouses, mocking the Earth Fund messaging. Even sports talk shows squeezed in jokes about converting Koru into an offshore arena. Every genre found an angle because the story blended money, romance, ego, and carbon footprints. Content strategists taking notes on the uproar remind students that algorithms don't weigh courtroom exhibits, they weigh watch time. Every meme, reaction stitch, or 12-second recap extends the scandal's half-life, pushing clips toward fresh viewers who might not recognize the names but adore a fall from grace narrative. That feedback loop makes the story feel impossibly large, yet it lives mostly in pixels, refreshed with every swipe. In a sense, Bezos, Sanchez, and Rogan are co-authors of a viral headline that keeps rewriting itself. The most fascinating thread is how a single unscripted monologue can steer a global conversation. version. Rogan didn't reveal confidential files. He simply turned opulent veneer into punchline, and the punchline metastasized into common wisdom. In 2025, perception often outpaces documentation. A sharp quip spreads faster than any subpoena, and by the time facts catch up, reputations are already wobbling. Lauren may yet stage a redemption tour, but she'll have to wrestle with a meme that painted her motives before she opened her mouth. Bezos, by contrast, appears almost amused. Paparazzi shots captured him boarding a Gulfstream with Blue Origin engineers 2 days after the lawsuit news, sporting the relaxed grin of someone who knows contingency plans are humming beneath the tarmac. Allies insist the legal blitz isn't about money, it's precedent. If a $5 billion warning discourages future entanglements from leveraging his empire, the expenses pocket. Change dot to a man scheduling lunar launches. Emotional turbulence is just another variable to route around. As the dust settles for a moment, the audience juggles two shifting images. Lauren, once an embodiment of self-made hustle, now cast as an overreaching strategist. And Bezos, long mocked as an awkward tech titan, suddenly reframed as a chess grandmaster who rarely shows his queen unless the board is already won. Hovering above them is Rogan, perched like a crow on a power line, repeating observations that keep echoing louder than official statements. Whether you see the saga as karmic justice, media overreach, or simply irresistible drama, one lesson refuses to fade. In the age of endless feeds, optics are oxygen, so what happens next? Court calendars remain sealed, yacht trackers ping empty seas, and Lauren's profile photo still beams that Venice smile. Somewhere, attorneys polish depositions, while social strategists storyboard comeback arcs involving documentaries, charitable foundations, or candid podcasts. For now, though, the final word belongs to that gravel-voiced host who glanced at a gilded wedding and saw a merger waiting to implode. Audience appetite has not waned, and every swipe, share, or stitch virtually guarantees there will be another twist in the Billionaire saga. Stay tuned because the algorithm never sleeps, and neither does this relentless story.